records are now open. Come on in, everybody. Let's get down to business in our Akashic Records. The energies are very, very thick right now. So it is my honor, privilege, and pleasure to share some sacred time with you all today. Please say hello to me once you get here and let me know where you are tuning in from. And I'll invite everyone who is coming on to share in the comments a quick hello, where you're tuning in from. Then imagine these pinpoints of light illuminating all over our planet, because we are truly creating a grid of consciousness where any aha moments, any new thoughts that you have today, hi Kel in the house from Canada, you get an A+ for following instructions of the Akash. Kel, everybody follow Kel, Reggie's lead, and say hi. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Because as we begin to imagine and tune in to this connection that we're all making, these new ideas, these new aha moments that we have will begin to infiltrate our planet. And that is what I want. It's probably what you want too. I want to live in a world where we all have access to our higher intelligence to guide us, to support us, to help us make decisions, to turn on our self-healing abilities, and also our super genius, our creativity, because that creativity inside of you, that connection to God consciousness, is truly what we're all here to experience. We are all made in the likeness and image of God, Goddess, the ultimate creator. And we are here to create not only lives that are meaningful for us to live, but it's our job to participate in the collective creation of this holographic reality that we're all experiencing. So if this is the first time you're here, my name is Emily Harrison. I'm the founder and director of the Akashic Academy. And the reason I feel like the Akashic Records are so important is because I feel like this is the most powerful self-actualization tool we have on the planet. When I talk about this holographic reality, this matrix that we're all living in together, y'all, from Missouri, by the way, y'all, it's a bunch of zeros and ones. But I'm not coming to you from Missouri today. I'm coming to you from Reno, Nevada, the high Sierras. I realize Gal Reggie started us off in here by following the directions of the Akash, but I missed it. Sorry. So you can imagine where I am right now too, in the high Sierras, coming to you from Reno. And while I'm in Reno now, I grew up in Missouri, y'all. I spent the first 20 years of my life in Missouri, 19, and then I moved to Los Angeles, where I was an actress for 20 years. Don't worry, you're in good hands. Actress turned psychic. Don't worry. No, I promise to take really good care of you all today and share this magic of the Akashic Records, because when we can tap in to this higher frequency of intelligence that holds all information forwards and backwards through time from a neutral perspective, which, by the way, neutral is not comme ci, comme ça, as the French will say. That's a terrible French accent. All right, we've been here for a couple minutes, and I've already done 2 accents for you. I did my y'all Southern Midwest accent, and I attempted a little French accent there for you, right? But as we tune in to this frequency of higher intelligence and guidance, it allows us to seek the information that we're missing. Okay? I tempted you in the copy here to come on in so we could talk about superabundance, you tapping into superabundance, to your super health, to your super creativity. And in order to get to that state, we've got to clear out the super overwhelm. And the overwhelm comes in from the monkey mind. Time to reprogram the monkey mind. If you would like to set your monkey mind aside and tap into your God mind, your goddess mind, your higher intelligence, then you are in the right place with me today. So excited. I cannot wait to live in a collective society where we all understand that we are one, that your best interest is my best interest, that we've got to protect each other. We've got to come together and support each other, which is what we get to do here in this space today. And I don't know about y'all, but I am definitely feeling the invitation into overwhelm right now. As I was listening to some spiritual wisdom this morning, it was noted that through the Native American and the Taoist understanding of seasons and how seasons shift, that the energy as we shift from late summer into fall tends to be very chaotic. And it's an important time for integration. It's an important time for choice, you to choose your freedom. Samia in the house. So glad to have you. Samia says, love the picture behind me. Yes, I wanted to share with you guys. We've got some special guests in the house today. We've got Nefertiti and Bob Ross in the house. Two of my spirit guides in the house to support us today. And so let's dive into getting some intelligence and some activation from our Akash, this higher level wisdom that is here to support and guide us so that we can show up as the best humans we can on the planet. What do you say? All right, I want to give you all some construct on how to get the most out of this time that we're spending here today. We're going to jam till 12:30 p.m. my time. So I'm not asking you to stay in here all day, but I will invite you to stay for the entire broadcast because your innate, your higher self has brought you into this space today to receive a message. I don't know which message is going to be for you, and the message might even come through another guest here on the show today that asks a question. So if you want to get the most out of today, stay till the end. The energy is cumulative, and I promise that there's intelligence coming in here for you today. I also want to share that when I begin tapping in and calling forward insight to your questions, so you can go ahead and start typing your questions for the Akash, type them in. When I tap in and bring forward intelligence, if the message that is coming through was, wait, take two. I've seen all my friends come in the house and I want to say hi to all of y'all coming in. If the intelligence that is coming in resonates with you, even if you didn't ask the question, I want to invite you to receive that intelligence as if it were coming in directly from your innate, your guides, your higher self, whatever name you like to call the energies that are here, present, and ready to support us today. So who's ready to get this rolling? All right, so time for you guys to type your questions in. Let's get this party started on up in here. Send some love, likes, hearts across the screen too. Let's blow up the algorithms here on social media so that more and more of our fellow humans can come in and join us in this space. Okay? All right, so let's get questions rolling in. Otherwise, I got to think of things to say to y'all while I'm waiting for your questions. And I'm telling you, I am definitely feeling the invitation to attach to the overwhelm. I am literally reminding myself every 30 seconds, nope, don't do it, Emily. This is a holographic matrix. This is all based on your thoughts and your feelings that you are projecting out there. And so if I succumb to the overwhelm and the chaos menagerie of thoughts coming into my mind, I can't show up to do my work. All right, Heather says, what kinds of questions? Heather, a lot of times, thank you for asking. I'm not giving you protocol on which kinds of questions to ask today. Sometimes I will share a formula or ask your question in this certain way. I'll have the brain space to do it today. So thank you for asking that, Heather, but it's a free-for-all. Ask whatever questions you want. However, some questions are better than others, okay? And here's some guidance on how to frame the questions, and I already see them coming in. But we don't want to ask the Akash yes or no questions. We want to come into our Akashic Records with the intention in our heart to see what is unseen even if we don't like it, and a willingness to course correct. So what that means is we've got to take responsibility for everything that we're asking, okay? We can't put the blame off on someone else. Like, why is my ex continuing to be such an a-hole? Okay, which is not really happening in my world, by the way. That's not one of the things that I'm dealing with in my overwhelm. But if we asked a question that was framed that way, what the energy that comes back in is not actually going to serve us. What we want to do is we want to ask questions framed in, what do I need to know right now for XYZ? All right, Lacey just did a great question here. A great example of what do I need to know right now to live in my highest timeline? Okay, great question, Lacey. I'm going to leave this question up because I'm going to come, excuse me, back to this question and dive into some answers here for Lacey. And I have a feeling that this one is going to support a lot of you all in terms of what do I need to do to tap into or to live in my highest timeline? Ooh, Lacey, you said timelines. The guides are saying, first of all, let's bring that back down to one timeline, because when we're jumping back and forth to multiple timelines, that is something that can create confusion. Okay. Another great way to ask questions is if you are experiencing a challenge with, let's say, a relationship, an ex, or a current relationship, or let's say you're experiencing a challenge in your finances, which is also relationship. That's your relationship with money. But if you're experiencing a challenge in a particular area of your life, I'll invite you to frame the question in terms of what do I need to learn from this situation? Because generally, it's not general, Emily. It's all the time. Our karma or our unlearned lessons, we continue to cycle through and we create these patterns, right, in our lives. So if you are experiencing a pattern that you feel stuck in, there's something that we need to get through the old skull for you to learn so that you can learn the lesson and then release that karmic timeline. Okay, makes sense? If this is making sense and landing, send some love likes, hearts across your screen. And I'm going to tap in here for Lacey. Lacey says, what do I need to know right now to live in my highest timelines? So the first thing that the guides wanted to say was, everybody focus on one timeline, your highest and best timeline. Because when we don't call forward, declare, require ourselves to stay in our highest timeline, what happens is we jump, and you can make timeline jumps many times a day. Okay. And so if you are jumping into different timelines, different potential outcomes for your life, this is one thing that can cause confusion, that can cause chaos and overwhelm. See how this all starts to tie together? And I'm beginning to feel the tinglies through my body right now. That's a clairsentience. Somebody asked about how do I increase my clairs? All right, that this information is definitely coming in for me too. So what I'm already noticing is, oh yeah, I have been considering, okay, what if the outcome of this situation looks like this? When I dive in and say, all right, what if worst case scenario happens in this situation that I'm experiencing? I'm actually jumping down into that timeline. I'm not staying up here in my highest and best timeline. And therefore, I'm receiving information as I jump back and forth that's creating the confusion. How many of this is landing for y'all like it's landing for me? When I go like that means tell me through emoji. Or tell me through, what do you call, I just call them love like hearts. Thumbs up. Of course, I like the good comments. You can send the thumbs down too. I'm getting tough around the the negative comments because I have had some big breaks in my career. This legacy, this job thing that I've created, sharing the intelligence of the Akashic Records, taking on, yes, I accept my soul mission Girl Scouts honor. I will do my best to return the technology of the Akashic Records to the planet. And as I stay in alignment with my mission, I'm noticing I'm getting more and more opportunities super excited to share that not only last month did I have an interview with one of my great inspirers, great guru teachers, Lee and Monica Carroll. Lee Channel's Cry On. How many of you know Cry On? I was a featured guest on Healing Wednesdays, but I also got a big break on Gaia. I have an interview with Ed, Extra Dimensional, from my dear friend and filmmaker Ruben Langdon, premiering on Gaia. And so it's opening up this opportunity for major visibility for me. And guess what? Not everybody like me, y'all. Go figure. They don't all like me. And I thought that I had dealt with this in Hollywood. I thought that I was releasing a lot of caring what people thought about me in my Hollywood era. And guess what? It's cycling around again. So that is also what is creating this jump back and forth to timelines. And Lacey, I'm feeling that they're inviting me to share this personal story so that we can find resonance in this together. Okay, so caring what people think about you, Lacey, is definitely keeping you from living in your highest timeline. Let me know if this is resonating. And if this is resonating with any of the rest of you out here, please let us know by sending those hearts across the screen that caring what other people think and allowing the inner chatter, the inner critic to come up and to speak louder than our intuition, than our higher self, will keep us all from living in our highest timelines. Good. Heather says, yep, that resonates. Awesome. Jillian, resonating. My brothers and sisters out here. Yep. What people think about you is none of your business. I love that. I want to tie together a couple of other things here too. Samia, because I'm feeling a hit coming in for you too. I'm scrolling back to your question. Samia asked about what is the suggested path to aid me in my current financial block? There's a connection here too, Samia, that I'm feeling around, again, caring what people think. And in this particular message that I feel is coming through from Samia's question, but it may be specific still to Lacey. It may be specific to many of you. If you were here as a healer, as an influencer, as a wisdom keeper, and you know that you are being invited to recreate a job for yourself, learning to source and resource from within so that you're not plugged into the old matrix by using your gifts and skills, and there's a part of you that cares what other people think, or if you still are attached to the we're spiritual leaders, we shouldn't get paid for what it is that we do, we should be giving this out for free, that will block our ability to source and resource from within. Making sense? Send it across the screen for me if this is making sense. All right, so let's tap into that energy around caring what people think. Thank you, Lacey, for sharing. Linda says this is resonating with her too. So tapping into that energy around caring what people think and allowing that to begin to raise the volume on the inner critic. What I feel the guides wanting to bring in as an activation for us is a turning down the volume on the inner critic and turning up the volume on our innate, on our higher self, on the wisdom that we can get from our God, Goddess mind. This activation is for all of you who are ready to receive it. If you are ready to receive this activation and you want to turn down the volume on the inner critic and turn up the volume on your innate, type yes in the comments. Okay? And what we want to do is the guides are saying, bring the hands together, rub the hands, create a little bit of friction, a little energy moving in the hands there. Okay. And then we want to place the hands, let's say that's a couple inches off of my ears. And I'm creating a field around my mind right now. See if you notice energy moving through your mind space or your head space. Notice what you feel shifting. So we're creating a field here. Ooh, tapping the hands, moving in this field are bringing our awareness to how much healing that we can actually do on ourselves when we have awareness and we tap in. Someone asked about the clairs. How can you turn up your clairs? You begin to notice your subtle energy. So right now, if you are noticing, and maybe it feels like it's in your imagination that the energy is buzzing around your hands or around your head, that's okay. Your imagination is your direct connection to source energy. But as you begin to tune in and notice and feel the energy, you are up-leveling your clairs. Your clairsenses are your claircognizance, clairvoyance, clairsentience, and clairaudience. Okay. All right, so now that we've made this connection with the field, I want you to talk to your own internal energy. Talk to your own physiology. Talk to your own epigenetics. Okay, every single cell that we have in our body is coded. And I want you to begin to imagine that you're connecting with that coding. And make the declaration now to turn down the voice of the inner critic. This is actually a really huge activation because our inner critic is connected to our childhood traumas, the guides are saying right now. It's connected to a lot of trauma, but specifically the guides are bringing my awareness to childhood trauma right now. And so in order to fully release this from our field, we're going to have to deal with the childhood traumas that we haven't dealt with. And what that actually means is allowing ourselves to feel the feelings that we stuffed down when we did not have the tools or resources or permission to feel what we needed to feel, to release it through the body. And so it got stuck in the body. And the voice of your inner critic is basically the voice of that trauma. So do not be surprised if into your awareness, your memories, or you get triggered over the course of the next couple days or the course of the next week that bring up these childhood traumas. They're coming up to be released. Do not attach to them when they come up. Notice them, breathe, thank them for leaving. Okay, that's what it's like. They're coming up to leave. And they want us to say bye to them so that we know that we're gone. But here's the caveat. If we don't realize that this is what's happening, that we've called this forward and asked this energy to leave, what happens is we feel like we're experiencing it again. Because our memory is not time, space sensitive. It's not case sensitive. It doesn't understand that this happened in the past. Our memory triggers our emotional field, so we feel like we're feeling it right now. And that invites us to tie back into those old patterns. That's not what we need to do. We need to recognize, oh yeah, I asked this to leave. This is the evidence that it's leaving. Is this making sense? Type yes in the comments if this is making sense. Okay, good. I want you to give your hands a flick. Flick off any energy. I have to be careful over here so I don't flick this way. You guys know I talk with my hands. I need lots of room and my desk is right here. Flick off any energy that came up. And now we want to turn up the voice of our innate. That voice does not talk to us through monkey mind. That voice talks to us through heart mind. Okay? So let's rub the hands together again. Begin to create some energy, some friction in the hands. And we're going to lay the hands over the heart. Left hand, right hand over the heart. We're going to take 3 nice deep breaths, with the intention of turning on the heart mind so that we can begin listening to our heart mind. And we want to synchronize our breath as we're doing this. We're going to take deep breaths in and we're going to hold at the top of the breath. The reason we're breathing this way is because we want to tap into 0 point energy where we can actually change patterns. The reason we tap into 0 point energy is because there's no resistance in 0 point energy. The space at the top of the breath is where you can tap into 0 point energy. And if you train with me or you have trained with me in the Akashic Records, you know about this special kind of breath. I call it the reset breath because my guides gave me a download about 6 years ago about the reset breath and how to use it. And that's what I began calling it. But you'll find evidence of this breath by other names, not through the Emily dictionary of activations and what's going on here. There might be other names for it too. I don't think that I made this breath up, but this is just how the guides brought it into my field. But think about a wave, okay? Actually, let me do 2 waves. The place where the waves meet, they cancel each other out, right? You guys remember that from your science classes? You know I like to act everything out with my hands, right? So the waves coming in, when they meet and they cancel each other out, that's where we tap into 0 point energy with our breath, which, by the way, the breath is so magical because the breath is the substance that bridges the physical realm and the higher realms of the esoteric. That's why we want to use our breath, this tool that we all have available, accessible to us in every single moment. And when we pause at the top of the breath, that's where we're tapping into that 0 energy point where the inhale and the exhale are meeting. Okay, so we've got left hand over right hand. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. This is the reset breath to, again, consecrate the directive we gave to our epigenetics to turn down the inner critic and turn up the voice of our innate. Let's take these 3 deep breaths together. Breathe in very deeply through your nose and hold at the top of the breath. Deep breath in. Good. Pause. Nice. We're all in that 0 point together right now. This feels special to have the awareness that we're all in 0 point together. Exhale. Good. Second deep breath in. Holding. Nice to meet you in 0 point again. How have you been since we were here a couple seconds ago? Good. Exhale. Good. Third deep breath in. Have an awareness that as we're in 0 point right now together, that the entire universe is rearranging according to your directive. Exhale. Good job. All right, how are you guys feeling? How the heck did I talk for 20 minutes on one question? I feel like we went through a wormhole. How did that happen? All right, how many of you guys felt that? Felt that moving through? I'm going to keep going here today because, again, I need this. I love spending time with you all. I love taking the awareness off of what's happening in my own field and showing up to serve and support. It gives me an increase in my vibrational frequency, which allows me to go back into those issues that are like the dishes. They don't do themselves. They don't handle themselves, y'all. You got to go back in and handle them. So thank you all for allowing me to spend this time with you. Thank you all for raising my vibrational frequency so that I can go back to the personal mess of miscreation that I created before I was fully awake. And yes, even though I have aligned myself to my mission and my higher self, and I have a dedication to moving on this path where I'm creating on purpose, I still have shit that is rippling through my field from times in my life when I miscreated, when I didn't use my full intelligence to create what I wanted to experience because I wasn't fully awake yet. Am I claiming to be fully awake now? Don't write in. No, not exactly. All right. Shelly Carlson coming in. How can I clear the feeling of lack when I am triggered? I thought I cleared it already, but I'm still triggered. Thank you, Shelly. I feel you. How many of you guys can resonate to old things that you felt like you had worked through coming back up? Okay, let me tap in here, Shelly. How can I clear the feeling of lack when I'm triggered? Okay, so the guides are saying, remember lack or debt. They want to talk about this from the standpoint or the vocabulary of debt. Okay. Debt is a lack of love. And I don't just mean financial debt. I mean any place in our life where we are not filled up. If you are not filled up with love, with connection, with inspiration, then you are operating out of debt or out of lack. And that simply comes from lack of love. That there's not a full frequency and a connection to unconditional love that's available for us in any moment if we choose it. All right. So Shelly, I'm going to invite you and anybody else who this is resonating with. If there's an area of your life where you feel like you are cycling through the triggers keep coming up for you, and you notice that that trigger puts you into a mindset state of lack, I want you to think about that situation that is triggering you, or that person that is triggering you, or the situation. And see if you can notice where there is a lack of love there. Maybe a lack of love that you're projecting, or it could be a lack of love that you're not receiving. Okay? Because even though we mean well, okay, let me offer myself an upgrade. Even though I mean well, and I want to leave a legacy of love and compassion here on the planet, I don't always send love and light and compassion to the people that trigger me. I don't always think to do it in the moment where I'm charged. So it's really great that we have these conversations when we're outside of the charge so that we can get tools and skills. You got to have some kind of what I'm going to do in your back pocket. No, I'm not just like slapping my pony ass there, everybody. I'm referring to here. You can't actually see it. Let me take Shelly's comment. Oh, you still can't see my booty. I like my white pants on today too. I wanted you to see my whole outfit. And hang on, my zipper's not quite all the way up. All right. So I was referring to your back pocket here. You have got to have tools in your back pocket that you don't create them and think about them in the moment of the trigger. Because here's the cool thing about triggers. When we're triggered, we're actually very present in the now moment. Our mind is not thinking about, ooh, what was that Emily told me to do when I'm in the trigger? So we can learn to love and bless our triggers right now. One of the few times we actually stay in the now moment and we're totally present with whatever is there. But we're totally present and with whatever's there in its lowest octave, in the octave that triggers us. We'll learn to be present with our triggers in a higher octave where we can hold and maintain peace. But if you don't do the work and if you don't have this plan in your back pocket, it's like creating your list to go to the grocery store. You got to have your list before you go, right? So this is creating your grocery list of what we're going to do the next time we're triggered. All right, so I'm putting Shelly's comment back up here because I want you all to stay connected with the issues where we're working here. Sometimes I trail off and talk about other stuff. So let's bring us all back into the same question again. All right, so when we're triggered and we're feeling lack, what the guides are saying is that look at where we're not sending love out to that person, that situation. Also, look at where we're not receiving love, where we might be blocking our ability to receive love. What does it mean to receive love in a trigger? What the guides are saying right now is to know that there's a lesson there for us. Okay, when your triggers come up and your challenges come up, these are opportunities to become more resourceful. Any challenge you're experiencing is just an opportunity to become more resourceful. And in order to do that, we have to receive that knowingness that this is an opportunity, an invitation for my up level. Give me some hearts if that's making sense. Okay? Shelly, let me know if this is resonating with you. Let's scroll down a little bit here. Cool. Thank you guys. I try to make it fun for you. I think that as we learn and grow spiritually, we've got to keep it fun. Laughter is medicine. Laughter is a frequency that will break up negative energy. So I'm glad that you have some good laughs. Whether you're laughing at my expense or not, bring it on. It is the medicine that we need here to break up the negative energy. Yes, good. This is resonating. Yes. Thank you. Feeling it. Good job. Okay, so let me tap in and let's bring through an activation for us right now. Or actually, the guys are saying just do the work right now. All right, so think of the last thing that triggered you. Well, I got one. Type yes when you got your trigger that you want to work with. I want to see all of you who are working with this energy and hold space for you as you do this work. All right, and now I want you to imagine projecting love out of the heart towards this situation, towards all people involved. Hey, did you notice how I just went like from here to here? We got Rhonda Elliott in the house today. I haven't seen Rhonda tap in yet today. Rhonda, one of my great students and one of my mentors in Reiki, she attuned me to Reiki. She taught me mitts, not gloves. Mitts, not gloves. When we're sending the energy, I was gloving it out. Now I'm mitting. All right, mitts, sending that energy out through the heart, through the hands, through the third eye. To the people or the situation, everyone involved, whether you know them or not. And the guides are saying there's a very specific connection to these 3 points that we're using to send energy: the heart, the hands, and the third eye. Okay, heart is bringing us all back into a frequency of unconditional love and wanting what's best for each other, realizing that your best interest is my best interest is your best interest. We're all on the same team. Okay, it's bringing us back into that coherence, that heart coherence. As we send the energy from our hands are doing things with her. I was trying to think of a good... Our hands are our tools that we create with, that we do with. Doing nature to the hands. Y'all following the connection that they're making, even though I'm explaining it pretty doo-doo right now? I'm going to trust that your heart mind is getting it. So we're sending the energy of doing. This is like the energy of action taking in coherence with that highest energy of love. And then as the energy shoots out the third eye, this is giving us the vision, the higher vision. It's also sharing that frequency. Because I said, one of the reasons that I want you all to think about the grid and how we're all tapping in is because we share that frequency with the planet. We're laying this grid work of consciousness, of higher possibility over the planet. As you are sending this energy through your third eye to the person or the situation that's triggering you, you are inviting that person's innate, this is like a Jedi mind trick, you follow me? For them to be able to see the higher truth and the higher possibilities as well. Okay? So just in a few moments, sending that energy out. Good, now I want you to flip your hands over and lay the hands on the lap. I have my hands just cupped. Let's see. I have it's my right hand. I missed that day at kindergarten. If y'all know me, my right and my left. Woo! And then years in Hollywood where you got stage right and stage left, which is totally different than the real right and left. This one gets me all the time. All right, so as I look at naturally how I'm sitting, I've got my right hand on the bottom, left hand on top. Hold those hands at the lower belly. We're actually tapping into your lower dantian energy centers here in the body. And I now want you to allow yourself to receive the lesson, the love. And guess what? There is so much phenomenal energy, connection, and magic that comes through 5D conflict resolution. The conflict doesn't go away as it changes forms. It does. But we still have conflict with people. 5D people having conflict with other 5D people. It still happens. What changes is our conflict resolution, and there's so much magic in there. I can't tell you how many people that I have pissed off going through this process. And then I come back to the table and I say, let's lean farther in. Let's both surrender whatever it is that's feeling like our harsh armor, and let's just be present and let's move through this. Let's hear and understand each other. And man, I can be so pissed off at somebody and love them so much after I go through a deep, transformative conflict resolution. So if you are experiencing conflict and triggers, know that this just might be your inner magician coming forward to teach what it means to come back together in unity. I mean, this is really the whole metaphoric reason that we incarnate here on this planet. We start in the space of unity and connection with God, the God mind. And then we incarnate as individual aspects of the God personality so that we can move back into a state of oneness, so that we can understand what this process looks and feels like. That's the macro. We know from the Hermetic principles, as above, so below. So if you are experiencing it on the macro, or if we're all experiencing it, then it's also going to show up on your micro. And in your micro, good, I'm glad this is resonating with you all. Hi, Lizanne. Love you. On your micro, each one of our experiences are going to look unique, but they're all coming from this bigger galactic storyline that we're all participating in together, which is understanding how our separation consciousness works and that we get to move it back into unity consciousness. Okay, I would tell you to send some hearts across the screen if this is resonating, but I got your hands down here holding your lower Dantian. Yeah, that's what we're holding, Emily. Receiving the lessons. Yes. And this is where, when we soften and we move into a willingness to learn and to receive lessons, it all gets so much easier. It's our resistance that keeps us in the lower vibrational frequencies. Okay, you can break energy down into resistance or allowance. Those are really the only energies that we experience. Rob says, is this similar to a DNA activation? Yeah, our DNA is definitely activating and illuminating as we do this. Thank you, Rob, for that. We'll close out our day. I'm way over. Thanks for continuing to hang with me. Wait, go back here. Oh, wait, come on, Emily, work your technology, girl. You got this. Is this similar to a DNA activation? Let's do a DNA activation before we leave. Finishing up this activation of receiving, moving into a state of allowance. When we're in the state of allowance, then we can receive the abundance, we can receive the opportunity, we can receive the insight, rather than being in resistance. Okay, let's shake that one off. Shake it out the bottom of my feet there. Oh, little Charlie horse and the old hip action there. All right, let's do one more activation together here. Rob Walden, thank you so much for being in this space with us all today and calling forward a DNA activation. All right, so here's how I want to do this with you all. Well, it's sort of me, but I'm just really their puppet. I'm just the one who gets to put words to the energies that are coming in, okay? When we open our Akashic Records, which I went through the process of opening the records before the broadcast started, and in order to save time, because your girl like to talk a lot when she get in here, I open the records before we come in so that you are entering in the space of the records. But those of you who have gone through the process of opening the records with me, and you've done it what I call my way, which was just gifted to me by my guides and masters in the records, okay? You know that we work with the crystalline tube of light. We anchor it into the Mother Earth, and we anchor it into the Akash, or the ether. Okay? Which there are many ways to get into the Akashic Records. You guys have probably stumbled in your own way, whether you meant to be in the records or not. You can go in through the pathway prayer. You can dream your way in. This is just the way that my guides gifted me to walk others through the process. And we work through a crystalline tube of light. So I want you to close your eyes right now and activate your crystalline tube of light. The more you can bring your imagination into tuning into this crystalline tube of light, meaning notice what it sounds like, notice what it looks like, notice how it feels as it's vibrating in your body. As you notice these things, you will increase your psychic senses, your clair senses. You'll get an activation in your clairs. Okay. And you'll make a stronger connection with your own crystalline tube of light. Okay, so we've got it anchored into Mother Earth and into Father Sky, into the Akash. I want you to imagine now, heart is the vortex point here. Oh, don't even try to do left and right, Emily. I'm just gonna point and act it out for you, right? So imagine the energy is running down one side of your body all the way into Mother Earth. It comes back up the other side of the crystalline tube. It crosses over, goes up into the Akash. That's pointless to do with my hands. I definitely didn't practice acting that one out before we started. See, that's how you know that everything is so raw and authentic in this space. I never know what's going to come up, so I can't really practice before we come in. All right, so just imagine that we've got it's almost like a giant infinity symbol as the energy is going through, okay? So that giant infinity symbol moving through. Imagine it, see what color it is. It doesn't really matter what color, but your unique color can give you messages. I say it doesn't matter what color, meaning all of our colors could be different. You might see purple, you might see pink, you might see green. Notice what color you do see though. Okay, then I'm going to count backwards from 3 to 1. And when I hit 1, we're going to activate a vortex of energy moving through the crystalline tube in 3, 2, 1. Now, feel that vortex of energy moving and watch what happens to that giant figure 8. You see it start to spin in your mind's eye? Do you see it turning into the giant double helix of DNA? Yes. Filling our DNA now with energy from the Akash, with support, embodiment, and wisdom from Mother Earth. Imagine all 12 strands of DNA now becoming fully active and illuminating. Yes. Notice if you feel the energy in the body anywhere. My crown is tingling like a big dog right now. My root chakra as well. Good. Notice where you feel the energy in your body. There's no right or wrong way to feel it. And whether you can pinpoint where you feel it or not, this is still working. But for those of you who have advanced your clairs and you have advanced your connection with your subtle energy body, you're going to be able to know and detect where this energy is moving for you. Holding all of that in the awareness for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good release. Yeah. Feels good. All right, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. If you have enjoyed this today, if this has served you, please take a moment and share this out. Again, the more of us that up-level, that command our abilities to self-heal, to change the frequencies of our body, to alchemize, the faster we will tap into and establish and consecrate the new earth together. I want to give a special shout out to, Couture, I'm glad you're here, but my screen flipped. Okay, you get a special shout out too, girl. You come every week. I love it that you're here. Special shout out to Vanita. Vanita has a podcast, Elevate, and V and I shared sacred time together yesterday on her podcast. V, thank you so much for having me. I'm going to invite you guys to check out Vanita and her podcast, Elevate. Support our fellow wisdom keepers who are stepping forward in an embodied way to create legacy and healing and opportunities here on the planet. I know we had some fun. It was an honor for me too. And for those of you who are ready for a deeper dive in learning how to access your Akashic Records, this is really the planet, and the dream vision that I have is that we all can tap in. That you don't need to come to someone like me to read your records for you. That you learn to tap in and to read the soul intelligence for yourself. Once you learn to tap into this higher level intelligence, there is nothing that you cannot create in your life. Yes, you are still going to have a learning curve, but you will tap back into your ability to source and resource knowledge. Learn to trust this. I will teach you a repeatable formula where you know that you are in your Akashic Records, and you know that the information that is coming in is coming from the divine mind. It's very, very useful when it comes to reverse engineering our timelines and how do we step into that highest timeline. What steps do we need to take to fully immerse, or I should say emerge ourselves in that timeline. But again, this is the most powerful self-actualization tool on the planet. And I Girl Scout honored not only Bob Ross, but Nefertiti and the rest of my guides up there and my higher self, that I would do my due diligence to return this technology to the planet so that we can all live in freedom. Got a little emotional there. Felt it come up. I don't want to say goodbye, but I'm going to. I'm going to go ground some of this powerful energy. I will come back and leave a link in here for you all where you can dive into the complete beginner's training in the Akashic Records. This training used to only be available as part of my $5,500 program. And now it's available for each one of you who want to dive in at a much lower price, a much lower investment, so that everybody can access this. Okay? And I will share that we are starting the next advanced mastermind on September 26th. We're a couple weeks away from take two. I just really don't want to leave. I just want to stay and hang out with y'all. No, I got to get back to my own energy and fixing my own areas where I miscreated along the way, untangling the areas where I still get trapped in the matrix. I got to go get back to work. But we will be starting the advanced mastermind on September 26th. And this is where you can come into Sacred Classroom with me and with the high-level students who are coming together to learn the advanced practices in the Akashic Records. You will study with me and the students for 13 weeks. It does not matter where you are on the planet, because this is an opportunity to dive in online and stay connected, all of us together. If you are interested in that experience, the Align, the complete beginner's training in the Akashic Records that I talked about are your prerequisite to getting into that mastermind training. But if you have questions, or you want to know more about it, or you just want to say, hey, me, I think I need into this, Emily, don't hesitate to send me a personal message on Facebook. I am very accessible and available here for you all. So send me a personal message so that I can do my work, my Girl Scouts on our mission here on the planet, and get technology to those of you whose souls have brought you into this space for the purpose of remembering your highest intelligence so that you can create the most impact here on the planet. I love you all. Again, if this has served you, please share this out. There is somebody in your life, in your field, who needs one of the messages or all of the messages that dropped in today. So in a spirit of service, make sure that you share this. Make this available to those who need it. I love you all. Thank you for being here. Say hi to Mama, everybody. Mama in the house. Bye now.